Oh, we were cut off a bit early. Hi, everyone. Good evening, good morning, and good afternoon, wherever you are. This is Elma, the non-tech techie. And today I have Shawn of Columns AI. So he's the founder of Columns AI. And what is Columns AI? It's an app. Okay, so as a marketer, or it doesn't matter what you're doing, you handle numbers day in, day out. Like for me, when I do market research, I have a lot of numbers to look at. Or even say my analytics here on live streaming, like I would know how many people are watching, where are people coming from, how long did they stay, and stuff like that. So I have a lot of numbers, but sometimes it can be boring to look at these numbers. And this is what columns help us to do. It basically tells a story to us out of these numbers that are seemingly random or whatever. And tonight, this is what Shawn will show us how to use. Hi, Shawn. How to use columns
Hi.
for
Yeah.
doing storytelling, data storytelling. But before we start, please consider to subscribe to my channel because I'm sure that you will find all our videos useful, and also you wouldn't want to miss out on all these great tools and all the giveaways that we have on the channel. So let's start talking to Shawn. So Shawn, can you tell
Thank you.
us more like your background? Why did you start Columns AI? What is the inspiration? What's the story?
Hey, sure, of course. Thank you, Emma, to having me for this live stream. I'm very, very glad to be here. My name is Sean, everyone. I just started columns to about 1.5 years ago, like end of 2021. Before that, I have been working in big companies in IT industry for quite a long time, nearly 18 years, I think. My major employer was Microsoft. I worked there for 8 years, and then I worked for
Wow.
Facebook.
Mhm.
Yeah, and then I worked for Facebook from 2014 to 2019. I mean, now they call it Meta. 5 years, and then I worked for Pinterest, some image sharing app, for another 3 years, and then until the end of 2021. The majority of my time in these companies are building technical products, mostly data products. I build database, data warehouse, big data processing platforms. So there's lots of like technical work. I observed a lot of people, business people, organization leaders. They do a lot of data sharing because you understand the business is all data driven today. Just like Emma says, numbers to share, numbers to make it the meaning of it, like make sense of it. So I think storytelling is super important. No matter you're technical people or you're non-technical people, once you have the numbers in your data files or database or whatever the data is, you should be able to make sense of it and make a beautiful story out of it. When I say beautiful, I mean insightful as well. Not just nice looking, but also is really showing something to tell you how the business goes. So that is the mission for columns, and why I started is because I firmly believe the data is going to drive businesses everywhere, and storytelling is so important because every one of us needs to understand, what the number means behind, right?
Right. And
Yeah,
yes, because numbers can sometimes be overwhelming.
yep,
And aside from overwhelming, for some people, it's actually boring. Like for
yep,
me, if I look at numbers, I find it boring. But if it's presented to me the right way, then I become interested. So
exactly,
that is not just me, but I'm sure that if you work with the client, you want to impress them with your numbers, with your stats, with your analytics, with your metrics, or whatever you call that. And if you
correct,
present nice way, the better is your um, you will be perceived better and more professional by your client. And this is the reason why data storytelling is very, very important. Not just whether you work in a big company or a small company, it's actually important for everyone because
yep.
the better you tell your story, your data through a story visually, the better the results are. So, Sean, can you share with us use cases or some examples?
Sure, yeah. Let me just talk about a few examples. For example, one of the scenarios that we ever see is basically, the organization leader, like a product manager, they want to see some product growth numbers. And usually the way how it works is basically they go to ask for the technical people, hey, can you just run some data from the database and generate some reports for me? So people we are going to use in very, very complicated tools like BI tools and database mining, data mining, those type of things. But for columns, I mean, we try to focus on the last step. Is basically the technical people can prepare a data set. Data set means maybe it's just a spreadsheet file or a CSV or a Notion database or a SQL query to connect your database. Once they have that, it is called data set on columns. And the PM, the product manager, will come over and just open the data set and just start in explore. When I say explore, I mean columns we are just using statistics, AI to try to understand your data and generate some recommendations. I mean, later maybe you can see some demos to illustrate what I'm talking about. And then you can just navigate all the recommendations and see what really interests you. Maybe it's a spike of the growth, or it's some specific categories have special great sales, like in some category, let's say. Once you have that, then you're using the recommendations. The recommendations is basically the chart. The chart will present it in a canvas. Then you have the storytelling tools, design tools. Basically, you want to highlight a bar, you want to add annotations, add icons, and all these kind of designs, just like you use in design tools like Figma or some other design tools, and then you can really highlight those type of things. And the good things about columns, we are keep developing the intelligence of it. Is basically the AI we're trying to understand what is most important for you and trying to highlight it or come up with a theme for you. But I mean, this is the ideal case, but today columns, I mean, is still trying to develop along the way, like trying to discover the insights for you, trying to make a better design for you, and eventually, at the last, we can basically auto tell the story for you, basically generate a video and automatically highlight all the things, and you don't need to do that by yourself. But be honest, today we are not there yet. I'm just telling you, in the future we'll get there. Yeah.
Yes, and actually, this is really a gem for everyone, and I want people to really know about columns because this is something that you can use not only now, but you can use even, I don't know, so many years from now, because data, you will always have data. And even with AI now, the only thing that will happen is that you have bigger data to process rather than smaller, rather than
Yeah.
the amount of data shrinking.
Yeah.
You have more and more to process, and you need more and more tools to help
Yeah.
you visualize the data. And this is where columns actually step in. Do you have examples on like how it looks like, the data that you generated?
You want to see the like some demo?
Yes, yes, please. You can share
Okay.
your screen.
Of course, let me share my screen. By the way, Emma, I think your voice is yeah, it's a lot of noise there. Maybe some technical issues with I don't know, it's microphone or network or whatever.
Okay, is it better now?
No, still. Uh, can you hear me
That's
clear?
weird. Okay.
It has a lot of echoes. Yeah, it's just happened right now. I mean, it didn't happen like before we last when we talked about last question. I don't know about other people. Yeah.
Okay, I don't see any comment, but okay, let's just continue because you will do more talking than I do.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. Let me share. Yeah, let me share my screen and just like show a general, the look and feel, the process. Okay, about the columns, and later we can answer questions. What's the difference like between columns and Tableau, Power BI, and BI tools? Yeah. Let me share my tab. Oh, my whole window. Okay. You're able to see my
Okay.
screen? Let me know. You can
Yes,
see
we can see
columns
your
now?
screen. Yes, we can.
Okay, great. Okay, so yeah, and if you look at the columns, columns is very, very quick way. We're trying to build some intelligence and smartness to help people to transform the data into a story. So let's jump to a demo actually, because you can open Columns.ai and you can check out the main processes we built into the tool. It's basically connect the data, discover the insights, and then design your story. And then you have different ways to share embedding. And lastly, you can set up schedule to automate your story. So once you connect with the data, you just change your data. You don't need to touch that story anymore, basically. Uh, let me see if I'm on my. Let me switch to another. Uh, Switch. Yeah, this is basically my workspace. I have all different kinds of stories organized here. Some of them are shared, some of them are private, and I actually want to using my another account because I have sample data there. Right. Okay. So this is very simple. Every new users when they sign in, we prepare the visual samples and sample data set. Yeah, I just want to show the new user experience. So the things you are here can see, the workspace is just organized by cards. Every story is a card, and you have different versions. You have a lot of ways to, to set a schedule, add it to a page. Page usually means like dashboard, and you can view it, or you can just click view it. In the view mode, you can, share with a snapshot link or download. A lot of different ways, like I said, to sharing to with the audience. So let's start with the new story. So once you get the new composer here, you can see this is new users like tips. I can just close it. Yeah. Choosing the data set. And here I have one data set, which is data sample. Let's just choose it. And it will load in the data, cloud computing in the back, cloud cluster. It connects the data. It show you the data console. The data console basically just a convenient way to help us discover the insights. As you can see, based on the data, right now, Columns generate three recommendations. Every data set is different. Like for this data set, it's three different, the recommendations. If you like these recommendations, you want to continue design it, then you can click the use, go there. And if you want to, just like using plain English to ask your data, and you can use in this input box. Before I try this, I'm also trying to show you the data summary. Data summary is usually just like show you the samples of the from your data. It's not showing all of your data. By the way, columns can handle millions of rows of the data. It's not just like charting tool like in a lot of other tools. They just paste the small data. Columns connect your data source and really can process huge big data, and we process all the data securely cloud clusters, not on the client at all. And here you can see the data set statistics, and even can see the distribution of your data. You can just click each of them, and you can see the distribution. So let's see if I can ask a question about my data. For example, if I say total land, like land area by state in United States, right? And anytime it will, based on your typing, it will give you suggestions about a column name. But if you just type this one, you can just go. And it will go to back to the AI and process it. So the total land by state will generate this kind of bar chart for you. And of course, you can design the chart later. And if I want to see the highest state, state with like highest population or water area, whatever, let's say population, right? I can just ask it, and it will generate the sorting chart for you, state by state, and with the population, largest population is in California. So assuming that I like this, I can just use this generated recommendations, and then it comes to our canvas. And then now you can see, you can still using the question asking, the change the query. But once you have this, you can see there's a lot of design tools. The design tools actually can help you to completely change the look and feel. You can paste images, you can add annotations. Everything is movable. Like I said, it's canvas, like a design tools. And you can easily to using the AI to generate a smart title. For example, like for this thing, it says statewide population distribution, so you don't need to add it by yourself. Of course, you can also generate a summary, right? And summary, all these type of things, AI features, I think can really help us to easily to quickly get get us into. It's a little bit slow, the AI it's very hot. The API is quite slow, so but it works, right? It generated some summaries to explain what insights presented on this chart. And now, if you want to do even more, the design, let's see, we can just drop some widget. You can put it anywhere. Once you click every element, you can see left side, there's a lot of settings for that. For example, if I click the widget settings is showing up, and you have a lot of options to tune that, right? I can display the total populations across all the street. Basically, this is the total population of United States because this is sum all the states, right? And if you want to see average by each state, you can easily see that 6 million per state. And of course, if you go to analysis page, you can easily switch to map. I just want to show you this functions easily, but basically, I want to focus on the bar. And if I want to highlight a few states, I can do that. I can do, easily to highlight a few of them. I want to highlight CA and Texas. These are two biggest states by population. And I want to choose different colors for that. I can do that, right? And now if I want to drop some, the how to say the label, the automatic label, then you can point into a bar and it will automatically populate the results for you. These are just some basic stuff I showed you, but basically you can click any elements, any of them to change the name, to change the color, to change the style. And if you want to apply theme quickly, you can also apply theme here easily, right? I can apply theme, black theme, or I usually like the default one. It looks pretty good to me. So now, once you have this, you can save it. You can say, hey, this is like a AMA shell, right? I have this data, and I save this. So it goes to my workspace. It also saves the versions here, so later you can manage the versions. You can choose which version as the default. You can save multiple versions. If I go back to my workspace, you can see this story is live now, and I can choose to share it. If I make to share public, I can get a public link or embed to my own blog site, website, whatever. Or if you don't want to make it widely public, you can do, restricted. Then you can just share it share with specific people by email. Let's assume I want to do this. I can just copy the public, save it, and then I have my public link to this story. And then now you can invite people to comment on somewhere, download, or you can just basically copy the embed code. So you can embed this story specifically to any website you have. So in general, I want to stop here because there's a lot of things to show. But in general, I want to just tell is basically this is the very flexible the design tools and insights discovery to help you really tell the story itself. Like I said, in the future, just last comment, in the future, the story is not only static. It will automatically like a video. It show you, hey, this is like California, this is the text, and moving that will automatically generate for all the users.
And
but
by the
we
way,
didn't get there yet. Yeah.
Right. It's very important what data you put in, right? Because okay, I'm getting some questions here.
Yep.
I think we have to go back to your chart.
Okay, sure. Yeah, here. Like here.
Okay. Right. Okay. So earlier you mentioned about you asked a question
Hmm.
and it showed you something. So how
So
does that
basically,
feature work? Are my data column indexed or does the AI answer it automatically?
yes, that's good questions. So let's just start using something here. So when we type these questions, it's basically first it gives you all the statistics about each field in your data, like mean value, max value, and sum. Back to your question. When we type a question here, for example, like a state with biggest water area, right? So these questions will be sent to the AI engine. The AI engine will understand what is your intention. And based on your intention, it will translate your question into a query. So the query, once we hit this, the query will be say, oh, you want to see the biggest water. So basically means I'm going to use the water as a metric and you want to use the biggest state. So the unit will be state. We'll automatically populate this for you. And also you can notice that it's actually sorted by the water. So you can see this is a different view, right? When we see the population, California is the biggest one, but now when we sort by water, AK is Alaska. Yeah, it becomes the first one. Yeah, if we click this and bring more uh, the name. Oh, it's a little bit cloudy, but we can tune a little bit. Maybe just like use a bar chart to choose. Yeah. So yeah, so basically you can see it automatically changes, like mapping the query automatically for you based on your question. Yeah. Do I answer your
Okay.
question, Emma?
I believe so, yeah. So, but it
Okay, cool.
also depends on the data that you entered, right? Because, okay, so for example, this one you based it on the amount of water, was it?
Yes, yes.
And if you put, but because you already have that data inside, now if you don't have that data inside, it wouldn't show you that. Am I right?
You're right, yes. So every different data set, for example, here, now we are looking at the data sample, this data set. Basically, you can choose any data set as you have connected. I
Mm-hmm.
switched to this account is because this account just have a few, just like two or three data set. In my another account, I have like, probably close to 100 different data set. So every time you want to look into them, just select that data set. So every data set, once you select that, it's populated differently. And your questions is only related to the data set you are looking at right now. Uh, that doesn't make sense?
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so yes, of course, it does make sense. Okay, the thing is because there are some follow-up questions like, hey, is it
Sure, yeah.
possible to see the data based on demographic? So yes, it's possible to see the data however you want it as long as the data is there.
Yes, yes, correct. Yes. Uh-huh.
Right? But
Yeah.
but Columns is not going to magically make data for you, okay? Create the data for you.
Yes.
It
Uh-huh.
basically creates a story from the data that
Yeah.
you entered or that you input in columns, but it's not going to create a data for you. It's whatever
It's
mhm.
yeah, it's not creating data for you. It's basically
You're
processing
just
your data into a presentable format. The presentable format could be the computed results. Like this is another data, right? The data is computed results, but it's computed from your original data set. So columns, the main concept about columns is processing your data into a presentable format. Is not create the data or saving the data for you. Yeah.
right. So the
Hmm.
reason why I clarified that is because okay, there's another question here. Can we see data like people of the same niche in particular
Yeah.
location? And you cannot see that if you don't have that information entered in columns. But if you have that information entered in columns, then you can see it.
Yeah, columns actually doesn't collect any of your data. You don't need to enter any data as in columns. That's the way how it works is you manage your data by yourself. For example, if I choose another data set, like I connect a new data set, these data sources are all completely owned by yourself. For example, you have Google spreadsheets, you can just like connect your Google spreadsheets. And you have a Notion database, you connect your Notion database. You don't make any changes of your data on columns itself. You make your changes on your own, whatever data base database you use. It could be an Excel file, could be a spreadsheet file, or if you have CSV, you can upload them. Or if you have a file in some API, you can connect the API, or you have a database, you can connect the database. Columns doesn't own or store any of your data. For columns, it's just a connect. It's live connection to your data. So you completely own and manage your data by yourself. Yeah.
Okay. And then
Do you mind if I take off my headset, because given nobody else has a hearing problem, I actually hear a lot of noises from you.
okay,
Maybe
okay.
I can
No, no
take it
worries.
off and to see if it's better.
Yes.
If it's better, yeah. Okay, cool.
Okay.
Can you hear
We
me
can
now?
still hear you. Yes, we can hear you. No worries.
Okay, that's better. Yeah, I think it's my headset problem.
It's okay. Oh, I feel sorry for you. You've been talking like
No,
half an
it's my
hour
bad. It's
and you
my
had the
bad.
headset problem.
It's
Okay,
my
so
bad.
now
Yes,
let's
my
go
problem. I
to
don't
the
know why.
next question. Can we integrate the dashboard into any website as a white label?
Yeah, we support white label, but today we run LTD. The software is complicated, and for LTD we intended to not support individual users for white label, because we need like services to support that. So if you really want a white label, you need to be have a team, have a team on columns. Basically, it means you either need to sign a contract with us, or you can actually today we if you buy multiple codes, LTD codes, actually you will create a team. I mean, that's how it works today. But in the future, we probably will stop this kind of support, because there's a lot of support work for that. Hope you understand. Yeah. But
Okay.
to answer the question directly, yes, we support this. Yeah.
So it can be supported, but on a case-to-case basis, and extra charges apply because there is service behind, or you need a lot of
Yeah,
support behind it.
that's
Okay.
right. Correct.
And yes, Eddie, it's past midnight in Hong Kong, 12:28 right now to be exact. And prime time for Europe. Yes, exactly. That's why we are doing it at this time.
Okay.
So, okay. Now, what are your data sources? So, Columns does not provide data. You give data to Columns. Okay, so we have to
Yeah.
be very clear on this one. So, you
Mhm.
no data, no story. Simple.
No, the story, yeah. So today, to answer the question about the data source, I just showed in the demo. You can see we have a few support. The most popular one is definitely Google Spreadsheet. Notion database is something we're going to launch in next week. Notion database connection. L-table integrations is in feature request, but not implemented yet. Database like PostgreSQL and data warehouse like Snowflake. In the future may support BigQuery like from Google. I mean the framework can support in lots of different the data source, but right now I basically list all of them just now. Yeah.
All right. Okay. So the next question here is that can users access my published dashboard without login?
Okay, great question. So basically, in columns we don't emphasize the dashboard concept, because we emphasize storytelling. So that means you have two different sharing asset. One is your visual story. It's single graph. Then you can share like a demo. You can share with specific people, share with your team. You have a team on columns, or you share publicly. So basically, that's for specific story. Another dashboard kind of like concept is a page. So you can add multiple story into one page. So the page is required login. Basically means you either can share with your team or anybody who is on columns. As long as the login, you can make it visible to them. Yeah. But for the story itself, a single story, it doesn't require login. It's basically you can embed to your website, to share into with anybody. Yeah.
Okay, so that's good. So basically, our data is secure. And by the way, Columns is not storing your data. So in case you are worried about data privacy,
Good call. Good call. Yeah. Thank you, Emma.
right?
Mhm.
Because it's normally asked like data privacy. So especially in Europe, in US, it's a very hot topic where the data
Mhm.
is stored.
Yep.
Okay, so the next question, this one is from Pravash. Is there any size limits on importing data set? And can we also include live streaming data to automate visualization?
Yeah, I think this is also very, very great questions. So I think this is like two questions, right? So let me answer the first one.
Right.
Is there any size limits? Theoretically, we don't, because we have distributed cloud cluster can handle any data size. But today, usually when the size is going to be huge, that comes with a lot of cost. The LTD, lifetime deal doesn't support that. So if you really have these needs, talk to us. I mean, we can support you. But theoretically today, if your data size is about 1 million, that's under 1 million rows, 1 million rows, that's maximum. You're fine. I think you're okay. Just feel free to use it. The second question is about live streaming. We support live streaming data source like Kafka's will, but today we paused that because current audience, actually most of them don't touch those type of things at all. But I am assuming when you say live streaming data, you probably means, for example, you keep updating your Google spreadsheets or keep updating your Notion database. So if that is the case, exactly like I said, you can set a schedule. Once you have a story, you set the schedule on that every 1 hour. You can get as near as 15 minutes if you are in a team edition. So usually it's 1 hour, the minimum, or you can set like longer, like 1 day or whatever. Once you have that, the columns will automatically maintain the connection. If you have updates on your data, it will automatically pull your data and recomputing and update your graph automatically. That's the schedule feature. Look up the documents in the columns, you will find it out here.
Okay, so fine. I've done already I've entered my data on Columns, and now I have a story to show people.
Connect,
Okay.
not enter. I try to
Oh,
avoid
oh,
that
sorry.
because
Connect. Yes, connect. You're right.
yes,
Right. It's not enter.
we don't host, we don't save users' data. Yeah.
Yeah, we are not saving users' data. So I've connected my data to Columns, and now I have a story to tell. And do you have any metrics on the number of views of the story I'm
Embedded,
telling?
embedded story. Yes.
Mhm.
I actually just shared the link of the story. You can see the statistics. I don't know if let me. You have number of likes. What do I drop the link? I just shared that.
Oh,
Is it
just
like
drop it on the okay. On the right side of your screen, there is a private chat.
a private chat? Okay, I just type it there. So this is
Yes.
one example you can see. Um, we recording number of views of your story and the number of likes if people like it. So these are two basic statistics today to show.
Oh, that's funny because I tried to copy it and it did not.
It's okay.
Copy link
Actually, in the
address.
columns, the gallery, columns, homepage in the gallery, people, or you can see any of them. That's every story has views and likes. Yeah.
Right. Okay, so I dropped on the comments the link that Shawn has showed us earlier. So
Yes, in
you
the
can
demo.
have a look there that you can see likes, comments, or whatever. So it's like a social
Mhm.
media for data too, huh? That's interesting.
Because a
Okay.
lot of people want to share stories. Story is
Right,
designed for sharing. Yeah.
right. Can we connect with any analytics tool?
Yeah,
Maybe
that's a
like
great
Google
question.
Analytics?
I'm assuming that is what he means. JDeep. Yeah. I think we don't have a direct connection today, like Google Analytics, so Facebook ads or whatever. Those are very, very popular data source, but it takes time for us to. Today we build the whole thing based on the building public. We based on the votes basically. If you go to the contact of Columns, columns.ai/contact, that is a roadmap. The roadmap actually has a lot of feature requests. So if you're really interested in some specific data source, please go to create a new feature request. And once we have enough votes, we're going to prioritize it.
Okay. And I believe same thing here. Can we get our can we connect our Facebook group data or Pinterest or other platform data? So I believe it's the same. We've just answered that question. Yeah.
That's right. Mm-hmm.
Okay. What are the key features and benefits of using Columns AI for data analysis and decision making?
I think this is very, very good questions, right? What is the key features? What is the difference? I think people also asked, I noticed somebody asked about what is the difference between Columns AI and Tableau and the other BI tools. So in my opinion, Columns doesn't do data modeling. We don't want to complicated stuff. We are very clear about Columns is only connecting single data source. The data source can be very wide. You have a lot of information dumped there. That's okay. But we just like working with single data source, and the most important focus for Columns is basically we trying to smartly to discover the insights. So you don't need to have data analytics background or technical skills. We'll keep improving. I'm not saying we are in that state yet, but that's our ideal state. So using the AI to discover the insights from your data automatically, and using the AI to help you design a story which is really tell the things that matters, not just a chart. Because when you show the chart to people, you still need to explain like what the chart means. Like, why do you show me this, right? But with storytelling, like together with this design tools, you can know, hey, I want to highlight this. Just like the examples I showed, I want to highlight this. I want annotations on this. I want to generate the summary for this. So that's something Columns is very, very different. The mindset is different. It's because we really want to highlight what really matters from your data and generate it as a beautiful story so you can share. And in the future, like I said, we want to automate the telling process, like using the AI to identify what are the key steps, so you can really generate a video from your story. So that's the difference. The difference is basically we want to be the ultimate storyteller, like for you, instead of you go to use all the strengths, all the skills, and trying to mine the data, compute the data, and make the story. So that's not something we want to provide. We don't want to provide a technical tools. We want to provide intelligent tools, which is we can do most of the work for you and make sense of your data. I think that's the key important features, like for Columns to be compared to other tools. Yeah.
Actually, when you said that, now I'm thinking, would it be in the future? For example, I use Columns, and the more I use Columns, the better Columns would become for me because I'm training the AI to read my data much better. Is that the case?
That's good question. That's good angle. Very, very good thinking. I think that's super valid. But be honest with you, today we don't train personalized kind of like model, so it's still generic. But who knows? I mean, in the future, probably it's like what you said. I believe that because personalization is super important. Like today in the Columns, we have some feature in your profile. You can set some personalized settings. For example, like a theme, my default font, my default style, color, palette, those type of things. But it's static. It's not a training model. But like you said, in the future, maybe we can, train your personalized model so you can really understand what is most important to you, right? But yeah, it's for sure it's future. Yeah.
Okay, so this is a question from MD Rana, but don't answer this now. I will ask him to specify. Can Columns AI integrate with existing data management systems and tools commonly used in enterprises? If you can specify what are the data management systems you're talking about, that would be great. And then Shawn will answer it for you later.
Yeah.
Okay,
Great.
and
Thanks.
let's see. All right, here, based on what you're saying, if you own two licenses, you'd have a team which would qualify for a white label. Is that correct?
Today, it is correct. Yeah. But this is going to running for some time. Yeah, I just want to give you the heads up. Yes, today, you're right. It's correct.
Only for today, but of course, when the data
Not only
is
for
so
today,
big,
it's for sometimes
okay.
we run the deal on the LTD
Mm,
for some time. I mean,
mhm.
because one day we're gonna stop the LTD sales. Yeah.
Oh, so I think now the question from Ryan is, what will happen then once you stop the LTD sales and we have the licenses for teams? Can we still use white label?
We still use that because LTD is lifetime. I mean, once you get the chance to buy it today, I mean, you own it forever, basically, as long as Columns lives and we don't die.
As long as Columns leaves, of course. And as long as you leave, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
There are two things must be living. Okay. That's really good news to hear about data not being stored. So
Thank
it's
you,
very
Ryan.
reassuring. Yes, thanks, Ryan.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we just want to add
You
to this.
answered this one
Sure. Yeah.
earlier, but we can do it again. So Pravash
Uh-huh.
would love to know the story behind the inception of Columns AI and how big is the team size?
Okay, good questions. Yeah. So I think we talked about a little bit about the story how Columns was born, right? It's based on
Right.
the observations, my background, and I so just in summary, the most important thing I believe is data is going to drive every business. Okay, this is the first. The second statement I'm going to say is using make sense of data is not only technical work. Every business owner, every people, every stakeholders, everyone who owns data should be able to easily, I mean, make sense of the data. So I believe these two parts. So that's why I started Columns AI, and I focus on the storytelling, mine your insights, and present it easily. That's our mission. Yeah. Another question. What is another questions about? Is the
Okay, can you shed some light on the roadmap feature in development summary using ChatGPT?
Yeah, I'm not sure if you watched the demo I just made. We actually deeply integrated with not only ChatGPT. I mean, Google has bought. I mean, we're exploring API with them as which one, whatever is better. Okay. Anyways, there's a lot of AI models we can use, but you're right. ChatGPT is the main one we are integrated today. So what we have done today is we can using the AI to understand your questions, plain English, ask questions about your data, generate the story. Case one, this is the one we use. The second one, generate a smart title. I demoed on I just demoed. If you look back, you can see that. Generate the summary of your story, and the summary is placed on your canvas directly, and you can move around and editing them, right? Styling them. The fourth one is basically the integration is what I'm talking about. Is basically we're going to generate all the design elements and really illustrate what the story can tell in a video format. That's not available today. It's next step we're going to focus on. So AI, like I mentioned a lot of times in a lot of different places, AI is going to be blood for every software in the future. Columns is no exception. We will embrace it because AI is massively improve how people interact with software, simplify, make software so easy to use. That's the way how I see that. And when that plus, combined with the big data computing, the cloud computing, I think it's very, very powerful. That's the tech context, technical context background we are talking about with Columns. Yeah. Hope I answered the questions.
Yes, it's
Pravish.
making sense.
Yeah.
Yes, I believe it's making sense. Okay. Now I have some funny thing again on my computer where I cannot see anything, which is fine. But can you see the question from Chaitanya? Do you integrate with Integrately?
I don't know what the Integrately is. Sorry about that.
It's like Zapier, it's like
Oh,
Pabbly,
I see.
Integrately. So yeah.
No, I have no idea about what it is and never investigated. So sorry about that. I can.
Webhooks, APIs.
Oh, API.
Yes,
Okay, yeah, we have
webhooks
API
API.
access. Yes, we have API access.
Okay,
So if you
cool,
really want to
cool.
build Zapier connections, build something, is on your own. I mean, once you have account on Columns, you can have your unique API. You can rotate the API, and then once with the API, you can build things. But depends on what you're looking for. Maybe it's limited. I mean, if you have any questions, feel free to ask. Channel any support channels. We love to answer any questions you may have. Yeah.
Right. And Kevin is saying you are correct. AI will be in every platform. And yes,
Yay, that's correct. Yeah.
exactly. If you don't have AI on your platform, you're doomed. No, just kidding. But if you don't have AI on your platform, you are, how do you call that?
You
Because
are
right now
you
you
are
don't even have a
you're
very
lagging
tech, you
behind.
don't
You're just
even have
lagging
to be a
behind.
very, yeah, a little bit behind. You don't have to be
Yeah.
a very tech person to use AI. Like me,
Yeah.
I am 100% non-tech, but I can use technology. So you don't really have to be super
Uh-huh.
technical to use AI, and you use AI to your advantage. Okay.
Uh-huh. That's
All
correct.
right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what we did now is, hey guys, I've just posted the link to for the giveaway to sign up for the giveaway.
Okay.
And yeah, so far the only question I believe that is unanswered is the one from from MD Rana. Yeah, yeah, I can be funny. From MD Rana, and it's about the data management systems. So I don't know what the data management systems are, so we really can't say anything. But if you could reach out to Shawn, so if you go to his
Yes.
website, Columns
Please.
AI,
Hmm.
contact him, and he
Hmm.
can answer you much better when you are more specific with your question. All
Exactly. Yeah.
right.
Because be honest, like in every enterprise has very very different data management system. Yeah.
Exactly. And even if you think it's commonly used on enterprise level, it
Yep.
may not be.
Right.
So we have to be very specific on that.
Hmm.
Okay, and I really can't see anything now on my screen. That's so funny. All right. Shawn, can you talk about the plans on available on Betazilla, on Sazilla right now?
Oh, actually, yes. We are running. Like I said, Columns has about 1.5 years development since late to 2021, and we spent almost like 8 months or 9 months just to develop it. So we just started, be honest, and currently we are running LTD to to show our product to our
Mm-hmm.
users, and um, we have deals on sales on both AppSumo and Sastila. Yeah, yeah. We just look it up, and I don't have links right now, but just search on Google. You should be able to find it. Anyways.
Oh, actually, there's a link at the bottom that nttl.inc/columns that one goes
Oh,
to
okay, cool.
Sazilla.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. I prepared that for the
Okay,
show. Okay.
nice. Thanks.
So let's see. Anything else? Okay. So I don't think we
Can I
missed
have?
any
Yeah.
questions. All right.
May
So
I?
by the way, can you talk about your product hunt launch next
Oh
week?
yeah, that's what I'm trying to mention. Yeah.
You think I forgot?
I
I
would
won't
love
forget.
to. I would love to have everybody to support because we are going to have columns launch on Product Hunt on June 6th. Emma, do you have the link, the teaser link, the subscribe, so you can subscribe to the event.
Not
During the launch,
yet, but
we're
don't worry. Okay, not yet,
yes,
but give it to me later on, and I will post it in the group and on my
sounds good.
YouTube
Yeah.
channel.
So yeah, so
Okay.
we're going to launch that in less than 1 week, and I deeply appreciate if you can support us. And during the launch, we prepared some gifts. We have 10 LTD giveaway based on Lucky Draw program. So anybody who yeah, subscribed, joined joined the launch day and voted for us, and just leave your email there, and we can run the random lucky draw to give 10 LTD to
Okay, that's
10
cool. So
winners. Yeah.
yeah, 10 winners LTD during the product hunt, before the
Yeah.
product hunt or during the product hunt launch.
During the
Okay, we
product
will
hunt day, yeah.
I'll get the data, the information from you later, and then
Okay.
I
Okay.
can
Sounds
share
good.
it in
Yeah.
the group, the
Okay.
specifics.
Cool.
All
Yep.
right. Okay. So guys, I hope that everybody has already filled up the forms, because let me see, Ryan. Okay, he's asking if I received it. Anyway, Ryan, if I haven't received it, it's fine. I'll just add you manually on the wheel of names. So let me. So I received total of 20 sub 20 submissions. Okay, a few responses. Okay. Oh, there's another question here. If some
Mm.
okay, can you actually see it? If
Yeah, I
some
can see
has
that.
sensitive data like passwords.
Mm. Yeah, this is a good question. Depends on what kind of privacy security levels you require. So I can just simply talk about how it works. Okay. So Columns, like I said, I emphasize it a lot. Columns doesn't store your data. When you on Columns trying to tell a story, your data will be securely to load into. Today we're using Google Cloud Cluster behind the public net. So it's internal inside the cluster. No disk saving. Everything is in memory, and all computer engines running on the memory. Your data is distributed on the memory, and then when you're in the UI to query them, it will compute from the cluster and return the data to your UI. And this data is in your isolated namespace. So a few key information I can give you is basically we don't store your data. You own your data in your own workspace completely. No other people can access it. And if you are talking about how to mask the data in the display or we don't have that feature today. But if you want that, I mean, for example, like display the SSN or password in a mask way, I mean, we can support that. But we don't have it. Yeah, just feel free to send a feature request if this is something you need. Yeah.
Okay, so we have a total of 24 entries. So we're going to do the lucky draw already in a few moments. And any other questions? No more. Okay, no more questions. Great job, everyone. Thanks so much for all the questions. And
Yeah.
I'm just collecting the
I really
names.
appreciate the questions. Yeah, it covers a lot of
Yes,
aspects of columns. Yeah, it's great.
right. And I believe that actually having this live stream further clarified exactly what Columns is about, your
Mm-hmm.
vision. And this is actually the reason why I love talking to founders. So I know exactly what the plan is. And, we see you and we know you, and the
Yeah,
more that we trust you. So
yeah.
it's all about that. Okay. So what I'll do now is I'll share my screen. And I cannot
Uh-huh.
even see my screen. Okay. Let me just refresh my browser.
Fresh, your browser just left, Emma.
Okay, I just have to do a refresh so I could see my screen.
Yeah, I just saw
And
you left. I said, what? What's left?
Elma disappeared and she came
Yeah.
back. Okay, I was corrected. excited. Okay, just kidding. All right. So these are the people who submitted their names for the giveaway. I have Ankit, Ayesha, Chaitanya, Charles, Firoza, HM, Inderjeet, Inderpreet, Jaydeep, Joginder, Kaushal, Kevin, Mabel, MD Istiak, MD Rana, Niru, Poonam Sharma, Pravash, Ram. Oh, hi, Ram. He's the founder of Story Scraper. Ryan Gee, SK Nayak, Shorif, Subha, Tuhin, and that's it. Did I miss anyone? I don't see people saying that I missed them, so that looks good. So I can now start with the wheel of names. Okay, all right. So yes, thank you. You enjoyed this live event. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you.
And oh, this is funny. Father looks like a kung fu master as well. So do you practice kung fu?
Thank you.
Do you?
Oh no.
How would I know, right? I better ask. Get it straight from the source before the rumors start that Elma just interviewed the kung fu master Shawn from. Okay,
Oh yeah. By the way,
you
somebody
can see my
mentioned you can
screen.
see your
Okay,
screen. Yes.
let's now show my screen. Thanks so
Wonderful.
much for letting me know. Okay, so now the who did I miss? Who is this person? Can you please just write down your name quickly so that I can add it here?
Yep.
Because I can't see your name. Oh, that's Mizanur. Okay, I found him already. Okay, let me add you, Mizanur. One moment. All right, so that's all. And let's start to shuffle this. So tonight we have 3 licenses to give away. And thank you so much, Shawn, for that. I really
Oh,
appreciate
no,
it. And
thank
the
you.
whole audience appreciate it as well. Okay, the first winner is MD Rana. MD, are you there? Oh,
Congratulations.
Anuj is there. Congratulations, but MD Rana must how do you call this? Confirm that he is. Okay, who's that? Anuj. Okay, he is there before I can give him the prize, or we can confirm the prize. So while waiting for MD Rana to say I'm here, let's select the next winner.
Yep, I saw him.
Okay. Next is Chai Tanya. Congratulations, Chai.
Congratulations.
Is
Thank you.
Chai around? Okay, the next one, while waiting for Chai. Ayesha. Okay, let's see. I can see. Where is Chaitanya and where is Ayesha? I can't see them. Okay, so Chaitanya is here. Great. And Ayesha? Okay, so Ayesha is also here. So, oh, good. So again, thanks so much, everyone. And if you have any questions about the roadmap, any questions about columns, and where does Shawn practice Kung Fu, then just contact Shawn. Okay.
Feel free to ask. Yeah.
Feel free to ask which Kung Fu school he is teaching. Okay,
I'll give you a good answer.
ask.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks so much, everyone. Good night.
Thank
And
you
I
so
hope
much,
that
everyone.
you learned so much about Columns and how you can use it in your business. So good
Yeah.
night, everyone, and thank you, and see you
Thank you
again
so much,
next
everyone.
week.
Yeah.
Okay, bye
Enjoy the
bye.
day. Yeah. Good night. Bye.